Hi, and welcome to Morning Coffee. Today is Maundy Thursday, the Thursday of Holy Week, when the church celebrates and remembers the events in Jesus' life the day before he is crucified. That'll happen tomorrow on Good Friday. But it's the events of this day, Thursday, that really helps us to understand what it means to follow Jesus Christ through that crucifixion and into the resurrection and beyond, what it means to really follow Christ now. Most of us, when we think of Maundy Thursday, we think of Holy Communion, because tonight will be the night where Christ gathers the disciples together in the upper room and shares with them the Passover meal. Now, it's during that meal that celebrated how God released the Hebrew slaves from Egyptian slavery. It's during that meal that Jesus takes the bread and the cup and he transforms it into the meal of the new covenant. It's a wonderful message of what it means to follow Christ, that we are in communion with God and in communion with one another. We are one body. But that's not the only thing that happens on this Maundy Thursday. In fact, that word Maundy is a good reminder. It's from the Latin word for commandment. And it refers to when Jesus, on this same Maundy Thursday, washes his disciples' feet and then commands them to do the same. This is from John 13. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Now, most of us are very comfortable receiving communion. Not everybody. Some of us still struggle with just receiving that grace. But when it comes to foot washing, most people in the church are not quite as open to that particular gift of God. You know the reason why? You have to receive in a very vulnerable way. To take off your shoes and socks and to let someone wash your feet is a very humbling experience. For many of us, that's the harder part. It's easier to wash someone else's feet, not for all. But I would suggest to you that there are some of you today that when it comes to how to draw closer to God, what it means for you to follow Jesus Christ, there are some of you that need to reflect on the gift of God's body broken for you, the love of God expressed in the crucifixion, receiving that gift, being made one with God, one with each other, absolutely. But in our world, there are so many of us that need the blessing, the grace of the foot washing. We need to become vulnerable to God. We need to be vulnerable to one another. We need to follow the example, the commandment of Christ, to care for one another. Is your Christianity lacking something? Do you feel like there's something missing in your faith? Perhaps today, Maundy Thursday, would be a good time to consider that what's missing might be service toward others. It's much easier to talk about unity. We're all one in God. We're all one together than it is to humble ourselves and receive what we need from someone else or to offer ourselves in service. Well, that was the command of Christ for this Maundy Thursday. And I want to encourage you to consider allowing God to move in your life in such a way that you are willing to become vulnerable, to receive and to offer service. I hope you have a great Maundy Thursday and the rest of this Holy Week.